Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm here to bring to you the player ratings for Everton 1, Burnley 2. Obviously a very disappointing performance as I described in the match reaction, so give that a watch if you haven't already. Not the best, most entertaining watch, but I don't think the game was either, so can't make much of that one. Unfortunately, can't take too many positives from a low quality performance like that. But onto the player ratings, we'll start with Jordan Pickford, who obviously came off injured in the first half, which was, as I said, it was really disappointing because he was in a decent run of form. He made some quite important saves in recent weeks, and to see him go off injured is definitely a blow, especially ahead of the FA Cup quarter-final next weekend against Manchester City. And Joe Virginia came on, but we'll move on to his performance. But obviously Pickford came off injured, so I can't really give him much more than a 5 for his first half performance. So obviously got troubled earlier on. I think maybe a recurrence to that rib injury, and he was on his haunches a couple of times. Seemed to be struggling with that one, and then he went down holding his leg, I think, in the end before he came off injured. So hopefully it's not too serious, but hopefully he'll be back as soon as possible. Of course, with Robin Olsen hopefully recovering soon as well, because he's just coming back from a problem, and he obviously suffered that traumatic event at his home just last week as well. So pretty unfortunate position to be in, but hopefully we'll be able to get a goalkeeper ready for the Manchester City game next week. So moving on to the defence, we'll start with Mason Holgate, who had a really poor game. I'll give him a 4 out of 10 because he was really poor. I think he's been not great in recent weeks, and I've said that before on videos, and he's really not a fullback, and he can't really cross the ball efficiently for the game we'd like to play, for the standard that Luca Dean sets from the left. And he was caught out defensively a couple of times as well by the likes of Dwight McNeil, who had a good game. So 4 out of 10 Mason Holgate, came off really poor and probably doesn't start the next game. I think Seamus probably has to come in, but we do need to sort that right back situation out in the summer. Moving on to the centre backs, Michael Keane, didn't think he was too bad. Probably put Tom Davies in a little bit of trouble with that pass before one of Burnley's goals, but apart from that, don't think he was too bad. And he was one of the players who actually tried to trouble Burnley in the later stages as well. Got up the pitch a little bit, played a couple of good passes, and tried to trouble Burnley. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Same for Ben Godfrey, 6 out of 10 as well. I thought he was obviously a little bit more mobile than Michael Keane, and drove forward with the ball again. Tried to grab control of it a little bit, and didn't really do too much wrong defensively either. Could have been penalised for handball, but that's just the way the game's going at the moment. And he just blocked the ball, deflected onto his other hand, I think, as well. So it shouldn't have been anyway. But apart from that, yeah, he did have a poor game, so 6 out of 10. Luca Dean, is crossing from corners especially was a little bit off his standard today, so he'll get a 5 out of 10. Apart from that, he provided some decent deliveries from open play, but his usual delivery from corners wasn't there today, so that's why he gets that rating. Hopefully we'll be able to improve that, but I thought we did miss that quality a little bit, so that was unfortunate, because we did have those chances from corners which we couldn't really take, and sometimes didn't even beat the first man, which is disappointing. Moving on to the midfield, I thought the midfield got caught out a little bit. That diamond shape maybe got caught out by Burnley's 2 flat central midfielders, especially on the edge of the box when they did pick up the ball there and cause trouble from both goals, really. From that line on the edge of the box, which we didn't really seem to have covered because we were playing the diamond shape. But Alan played at the base of it, and he played some lovely passes. He played some great passes with the outside of his foot. I can remember 2 especially, but apart from that, he was caught out a few times defensively, especially for Dwight McNeil's goal. So we'll get a 5 out of 10 as well. Moments of quality on the ball, but he was unable to keep out the Burnley midfield, so he gets a 5 out of 10 for that. Tom Davies, he looked like he should have been playing at the base, and Alan, with his quality on the ball, should have been playing a little bit further forwards. But he had to go. Tom Davies, he's been good recently. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 because although we got caught out for the goal, which I thought was probably a foul, and anywhere else on the pitch is probably a foul, but he was unlucky not to get that foul, because he did get up and try and play on, and I think if he would have stayed on, maybe he would have got the foul. But yeah, obviously it didn't go his way, but he put the effort in and tried, which is more than can be said for a few of them. So 6 out of 10 Tom Davies. Andrey Gomez was really poor in the first half, picked up his level a bit in the second half. So 6 out of 10, only because he picked it up in the second half. But first half, he was off it, kept on giving the ball away, sometimes a little bit slow, often goes for the backwards pass as well, often goes for the simple pass. He's one of the ones who's most guilty of that, just playing the ball back at centre-back too often, which slows down our tempo, especially when we're going on the break. He seems to receive the ball and be too slow to give it or to play it forwards. He doesn't seem to do that enough, especially on the break, so it does slow us down a little bit, so we suffered from that today. So moving on up the pitch, we've got at the top of the diamond Alex Iwobi, who's playing in his preferred position today after telling Ancelotti he wanted to play as a number 10. Didn't affect the game in the first half hour they played in that position, so was moved out wide, so we can get a 5 out of 10 because he finally got his chance in his position. I thought that was a strange way to go about it by putting it on your Instagram story. If you're going to have an issue with the manager where you're getting played, have that issue with the manager rather than with the whole of social media. So I didn't like that. But in terms of his performance today as well, he didn't affect the game enough from a number 10 role. And then when he was moved out on the wing, he was doing his usual inside runs, which don't really do too much. So 5 out of 10 Iwobi. Moving up the field, Dominic Calvert-Lewin gets a 6 only because he scored the goal, but he did miss some brilliant chances, so he could get a 5 today. So it's only because he scored our goal that he gets a 6, and hopefully he returns to form because he seemed to be a little bit off it today. I know he got up well for his header, but in other moments, especially with his touch, let him down a little bit sometimes. So something to work on. But on to Richarlison, 6, nothing special. Didn't get involved in the game enough for my liking. I don't think he got on the ball too much at all. Wasn't really involved, but didn't do a huge amount wrong when he did. He had a couple of shots. He always seems to favour the shot rather than the pass, and tried to dribble Nick Pope, but didn't really have the chance to do so too much. So moving on to the bench, obviously Joe Virginia came on for Jordan Pickford and looked a little bit nervous for me. I think he made a couple of mistakes, especially that one where he collided with Godfrey. I'm not really sure what he was doing there, what he was trying to go for, but so I give him a 5 out of 10. Hopefully he'll be able to regain his composure, and because he might be called upon for the FA Cup quarter-final, of course, against Manchester City, which will be much more of a test than Burnley at home. You would have thought anyway, but yeah, hopefully he'll be able to pick his confidence up a little bit. But moving on to the rest of the bench, Josh King, as I say, got more time than he has done in recent weeks, but couldn't affect the game because he was out on the wing. Do you think he should get a chance further in the middle, in his preferred position up front, if we're talking about preferred positions? But out on the wing didn't really affect the game much. Linked up with Richarlison a little bit, but didn't offer too much, so 6 out of 10 standard. Seamus Coleman also came off the bench for Holgate, obviously, when he came off, and made that mistake, of course, where he played the ball completely out of play and didn't do too much more than that, really. He had a shot from the edge of the box, so he seemed to be a bit more determined than other players, which is good to see, but I don't think he was up to full fitness, really. I think he's still on his way back, so got minutes under his belt, but didn't really affect the game too much, so 5 out of 10. So that's my player ratings. Let us know if you agree or disagree. No one really special stands out from that match, so I couldn't really give us a man of the match. But yeah, that's my player rating. So let us know what you think in the comments, and obviously give a video a like, give us a subscribe, and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.